This is a fact. North Korean forced labor camps are hell, maybe even worse than hell. And that is what two American women journalists face right now. They've been sentenced to 12 years in a North Korean hard labor camp for what the communist nation calls an illegal border crossing and a grave crime against North Korea. In the documentary film Kim Jongilia, The Flower of Kim Jong-il, survivors of North Korean prison camps talk about the horror they went through.
쥐를 잡아먹는 애들한테 같이 이제 쥐 고기를 처먹고 그리고 이제 저런 걸 잡아먹어야지 내가 살 수 있겠구나 하는 생각을 처음 가지게 됐죠.
저희는 먹을 게 없으니까 약을 살 수도 없고 그냥 죽는 날만 기다렸거든요. 그냥 한쪽이라 눕혀놓고.
14시간을 내가 거꾸로 매달려서 매를 맞았던 적도 있고요.
언제 어느 순간에 어디서 매 맞아야 되고 또 언제 어느 때에 이제 벌칙을 받아야 되는 그런 건 우리가 모르니까 항상 거기에 이제 공포감이 있거든요, 우리는.
보면 저희는 사람을 주고 사고 판다는 게 그게 정말 상상도 못했던 건데.
NC Hyken joins us live, director of Kim Jongilia, The Flower of Kim Jong-il. NC, thank you for joining us. And I know you've done this documentary. How bad is it in those camps? What have you learned?
I've learned horror upon horror. It's worse than you can imagine. Everything is worse than you can imagine. It's people are controlled by starvation. They are made to work impossible tasks, sometimes stupid tasks for nothing, but usually just plain old hard labor. The people they want to kill, they kill people by labor, basically. They don't just kill them, they kill them by making them work. They will send them down to the mines. They make children work by Kang Chol-won, who was just in that clip. He was made to transport these huge logs up and down mountains when he was 9 years old. How
about food? How about food? What's the food like?
Food rations are tiny. There's like a handful of cornmeal for a meal, and the minute you do something wrong, that handful is reduced to half that amount, and then if you do something else wrong, a quarter of that amount. And if you're caught stealing food, which everybody tries to do because they're starving, you're executed.
I've heard stories about people trying to catch rats and eat them, insects, and did your film bear out any of that?
Absolutely. Again, Kang Chol-won, this is the man in the red sweater you've been showing in the clip, talks about the first time he ate a mouse, that he understood he had to do that to survive, and he relates a story where there was a guy actually raising mice in his hut so that he could eat them, but it became this thing for all the kids to just they would try and catch snakes or frogs or mice or bugs, anything at all for protein.
Who is Mrs. Kim? And I know that in your work you've come across a woman named Mrs. Kim.
Right. She is a woman of about, I'd say she's in her early 70s by now, and she was a dancer in the early 60s, and this is her you're seeing on the screen now. She didn't want her face to be shown. She was friends with a woman who became Kim Jong-il's lover, and because she knew about, they thought she knew about this affair, she may not have, but they thought she did, she was arrested and interrogated for 2 months until she sort of understood what she was being accused of. And then she was taken to a camp. Her husband was taken away to another camp. She never saw him again. Her parents were taken with her. Her 4 children were taken with her. And her parents died in the camp. Her oldest son died walking home from the camp school, and he drowned in a river. Her daughter she gave up for adoption because she would have been tainted by having been in the camp, therefore incapable of having a normal life in North Korea. Another son tried to escape and was shot, and a third son tried to escape and was beaten so badly that he's now in a sort of permanent coma, although he is alive. And one of the things that this shows is that if one person in a family is accused of something, 3 generations of the family are taken to the camp and allegedly to purge the entire family of their wrongdoing.
NC, thank you. Chilling stories. Thank you, NC.